Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi Trish, good morning. I'm glad to see everybody today. How was your solstice? How was your new moon? Was it an eclipse or just a new moon? Good morning, Lynn. If anybody doesn't mind saying, I see that the glare is reflecting a lot on my glasses. Is it okay or is it too much? I can move my light. Good morning, Wendy. Great to see you all. Thank you. I will leave it as it is. Good morning, Marcy. I don't have a selfie light. There's just a normal lamp here, so it's been fine for almost a year and a half, so I don't need to change it. Good morning, Nancy. Wonderful to see everybody today. Yeah, how has everybody's week been thank you, Lynn, the eclipse. I think it was in Pisces. And then the solstice. Yeah. Tomorrow is a very special day for me that doesn't have anything to do with those things, not outright, but I celebrate March 23rd every year as it was the day I left the US 13 years ago, and my life has never been the same. So yeah, I've been living in other countries since tomorrow will be 13 years. It's been a mind-boggling journey. I would have never thought I would be here now 13 years later, and it's a wonderful, wonderful blessing, a wonderful surprise. And I'm so grateful every day. So, there's a lot of lessons in my story, and a lot of growth. And I had to become the version of myself that could sit here with you. And that's what change is, right? That our personality becomes our personal reality. And so when we change intrinsically, we then create our lives around us. And when we do deep transformational work, it's natural that things will change on the outside. And it can be either or. It can be take the action and then, live into that. And it can be create internally the energy, that you want to experience. And then that ripples outward, and that informs your actions and your results. In spiritual communities and other places too, it can be very black and white of, this is the way to do things, this is the way it works, to the exclusion of all else. And that is not true. We do not live in a binary world in that way. So that message wanted to come out this morning. I always trust what comes. So if you are new to me, I'm Natalie, spiritual life coach and Reiki master teacher. And today we're going to be doing our powerful weekly collective reading. So if you're hearing this, it's for you. If you're hearing the replay and you find it, whenever you find it, it's for you at that time. It's wonderful how the universe works. And then we'll be closing with Reiki and Ancestral Clearing as always. And we will start with Michael Singer and his Untethered Soul card deck. And this week, excuse me, his newest book has come out called Wisdom Untethered. I imagine this will be his final book. I'm surprised that he has come out with another one. I got to meet him a year and a half ago, and he was quite frail, like physically. So, I mean, I think he's close to 80. Not that people can't write books in their 80s, but I won't be surprised if this might be his final one. So, check out Wisdom Untethered. It's coming out around now if it hasn't already. And, you know, if you're a Michael Singer fan, go visit him. Go now. You know, when he's still here. So, and if you don't know who that is, mention it in the comments and I'll explain. But we're going to start with drawing a card from Untethered Soul, his most popular book. And let's see what energy he brings into our space today as we get started. Also, now it's Aries season, so, you know, the beginning of the zodiac starts with Aries. Aries is first. Aries is the leader. Are there any Aries in the house? My mother has an Aries stellium, which I find funny because it's so accurate. Hi, Nicole, Nancy. Happy birthday, Aries. Daughter and granddaughter are Aries, Wendy. I forgot, Wendy, what's your big three, if you know them? So, I'm going to read this Michael Singer quote, and I invite you all to take it in. A wise person remains centered enough to let go every time the energy shifts into a defensive mode. The moment the energy moves, relax and release. Letting go means falling behind the energy instead of going into it. So let's take a breath together with that. Hi, Sherry, welcome. And I'm going to read that again. So I just invite you to drop in, slow down, take this in. A wise person remains centered enough to let go every time the energy shifts into a defensive mode. The moment the energy moves, relax and release. Letting go means falling behind the energy instead of going into it. So this is actually one of the most concrete quotes I've seen in this card deck, and that comes to mind is to the actual mechanics on how to do what he calls relax and release, which is in the way that he teaches is like the answer to freedom from suffering, and really is like the portal and the doorway to enlightenment and peace and all of the things that we want. So if you want a copy of that, send me a private message. I will send it to you. And also don't forget to follow me here on Insight Timer if you don't already. Thank you to everybody who has followed, who continues to be in this community here. So grateful for so many wonderful connections, both long-standing and new. You can follow me. I'll put up my follow card here. You can follow me there. You can follow me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, my website. All of that is in my teacher profile and insight timer if you want to connect more. I do one-on-one card readings as a service I offer, as well as my signature energy healing session of Reiki and Ancestral Clearing. So if you want to inquire about any of that, send me a message. And also I offer my gifted visioning process, which is a powerful, deep coaching conversation to help you get altitude on your life and where you're stuck and what's in the way, and to help you move forward into action, into creating the results you want in your life. So if you've never received a gifted session with me before and you feel that on your heart, send me a message. I have a limited number of spaces available for that. So if that calls to you, reach out. Hi, Drazel. So we will go next with our Work Your Light deck, which are beautiful, powerful spirit messages. I love shuffling cards. It's so satisfying. Woo! I remember as a kid learning how to do this and how fun that was, and yeah, what a satisfying feeling. You're welcome. Deirdre, glad to see you. Good morning. Hi, Jacqueline. All right. And I'm excited too, because our next live stream, I'm going to go ahead and put this up too, will be on Friday for most of us at 4 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to be talking about trauma bonding. And this is a very powerful topic that if you don't know anything or don't know much about this, you can learn a lot, and it will really impact how you see relationships, and it might explain things too for you. So make sure you join for that on Friday. Hi, J.E. Oh, nice. All right. Hi, Gina. Good morning. Great to see you. Hello, Lynn. Yes, so, okay, this card for Work Your Light, I want everybody to think about just a question they might have, or something that feels like open-ended for you, where you're wanting clarity on something. So just go with the first thing that comes. We'll pause and take a breath. And just let that come to mind, because Spirit has a definitive answer for you. And again, this is a collective reading, as I said a few minutes ago, so take what you like and leave the rest. And for some of you, this is going to, be a very clear answer for you. The answer is no. No. So it says wait, postpone, pause, say no. So no could mean not now, right? As in the waiting or postponing, pausing. Or it could be no as in a blanket no, and close the door and it's a no. So hopefully that will bring some clarity for somebody here. And at the bottom of the deck, I feel called to share that too, because the bottom of the deck energy, I love. It's like a secret message hidden at the bottom. Well, not hidden, but obscured at the bottom of the deck. And so it can give additional information. It can show hidden influences. It can show subconscious things or things that are not yet in the light. And so the card is transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. So the way that I put this together with this no card is that when you say no to something in your life, it's because it's part of a deep transformational process for you. It's breaking a habit. It's breaking maybe the way you've always been, or it's been easier and you've just been flowing, and when really it's time to like stop something. It might be a habit or an addiction to a person even, which if you have that, come to the trauma bonding live stream, because that's basically what a trauma bond is. But when you say no, it's going to open new space and energy for transformation on a deep level. And it's like you're not going to see it that way at face value, because like at face value it's just this, but as I said, this hidden energy underneath is what is coming together. And it says, things are changing at a cellular level. I mean, I would say humanity as a whole, not even cellular, but like quantum. We are changing at a quantum level. If you think about it, it's very interesting. Like, if a person from our time were to go back in time, not even very far, it's like, how would we even explain the world? We are like aliens to our ancestors, right? And that it's unfathomable, the transformations that have occurred to somebody living in even 200 years ago, or even 100 years ago, not so much, but still. So we are transformed, we are transforming our nervous systems. I mean, we look at things in a physical way, but it's multidimensional, right? We have this, it's like this exquisite, sensitive, super sensitive, like we're like an instrument, where we have, this denser illusion of physicality, because there is nothing solid. But within this physical structure, there's the mystery here of the universe. Right here and now, we're housed in that. If you think about, our auric field, the chakra system, the nadis, in Indian or Hindu Indian terminology, even I heard something that said like thought is faster than the speed of light, and when you have an impulse to move your arm, like how does that get communicated? Whoever they are, have tested it or tried to, and it's like this, whatever from the intention to the movement is faster than the speed of light. It's quantum. So I just, Spirit is wanting to ground us into just the magic and the mystery of reality with a capital R. And that we are just these beautiful, finely tuned, multi-dimensional instruments of communication. And the heart is really one of the biggest, the heart and the mind. I mean, we've heard about the miracle of how the brain works and consciousness and all of that. And the heart as well is very multidimensional. So let's take a breath into that. And just see if you can sense into the energy field in you. Just the feeling of being alive in this physical form. And as I said recently, our body is housed within our soul. Our soul is not inside of the body. I think most of us think of the soul as like some, energy thing, and it's like in here. We might experience that way. We might feel that as the anchor, but actually the soul encompasses the entirety of the body. So we are inside of our soul, which could be looked at as the aura. Spirit over and over always grounds into just remembering what's really going on here, because we get lost. We get so lost in our thoughts. We get lost in our circumstances and our problems, and it's okay. And grounding back into the truth with a capital T in the present moment can bring peace and bring grounding and help us not to take it all so damn seriously. Hi, Jeff. Great to see you. Amen to that. So we're going to look at Sacred Rebels next. A beautiful oracle deck. This was a birthday gift almost 10 years ago for me. I turned 40 10 years ago, so wow, I've been reading cards, oh my gosh, for like 15 years. Wow, that's amazing to ground into. Who else reads cards here? Nicole, Trish. And I love that, so many of us do. Hi, Lisa, Wendy. Woo! Okay, we've got some falling. Too many fell. Gina has a few decks. Sherry. Hi, Erica. Dabbling. It was in like 2014 or I think, 2014, I got a card reading or a psychic reading, and he told me, he was like, I hesitate to say this because I don't see this often, but I see it, so I'm going to say it. I see you, using intuition and opening to your intuition, and that you have abilities and that you will be using these abilities to help others and to basically, he said, do what I do. And I was like, really? Oh my gosh, I don't feel any of that. And it was interesting because I was living in Bali at the time, and a few months later, one day I remember I woke up, it was a Sunday, and I was like, I'm going to go buy a card deck. And I went and bought my first tarot deck, and it just was magical. So we all have intuition, right? We all have gifts. We all can use those. So yeah, and the more you use it, the more it's like a muscle, you know, it grows. Thank you, Wendy, for the donation. Ooh, wow, Lisa. Dream interpretation. And some people have the gift or the blessing to have dreams that give messages either for people's own lives or messages for other people. I have had a couple friends who it was uncanny, the gifts that they had as in regards to dreams. If I didn't move around the world, I would have a lot more decks, and I actually do. But because I move, like I don't want to say can't, like, but I can't have books. I can't have a bunch of cards because I live as a nomad. So yeah, I would love to be able to have a bunch of different decks, and I don't. So thank you, Marcy, for the donation as well. Moonology, I've heard of that one, Jacqueline. So the card for this deck is Receiving. Look at how beautiful that is. Receiving. So just as what I've already said, of like, look at how present this person is on the card and totally just reveling in their experience, reveling in their moment, you know, truly like taking in and receiving whatever is in that cup and making it like a meditation and a spiritual practice of just allowing themselves to receive. And so for many of you here, you know, that might be part of your no, is that you've been overgiving, you've been stretching yourself thin, you've been saying yes out of people pleasing, out of obligation, out of guilt, out of fear, which if you follow me, you hear me say this all the time. Never do anything in a fog. Fog is fear, obligation, or guilt. So some of you, you know, this is codependent patterns, right? Which everybody has pretty much. So you get to receive. You're not comfortable with receiving. You're comfortable in the role of giving, of helping, of supporting. So it's time for you to receive. And, you know, this can also be self-care. And it can be support from others, receiving support from others, allowing yourself to receive that support. And again, we'll go to the bottom of the deck. This card has never come up in a reading here, and it's barely come up at all. Every journey starts with a single step. So again, that reminds me of this whole message of, you know, saying no to something, stopping something, so that you can make space for transformation to occur. And so, you know, where do you need to receive and change your habits and take a single step? You know, I mean, in my coaching, this is what we do. It's like, what is the smallest unit of action you can take? What is that single step? So you might have, some of you might be contemplating leaving a relationship or a job or, big life changes. And still there is a single step that's not, moving across the country tomorrow. It reminds me, for those of you that have been on since the beginning of this live stream, where I said tomorrow is my 13-year anniversary of leaving the U.S. I mean, that took, was a huge step, but also took many small steps. Wonderful, Nicole. And Drazel, I know, Drazel, you have talked about some different things. So, yeah. Hi, Susie. Yeah, I love how, these messages resonate. As I always say, you can't make this shit up. So, I want to look at the guidebook here and see what messages come through. And actually, for this card at the bottom about every journey starts with a single step, that feels really relevant to you all. Yeah, this is going to be really powerful. So listen up. You are on a journey. Yes, it is an internal journey, but there's also a physical expression of this journey that is going to become increasingly important to the fulfillment of your destiny in this lifetime. Your journey has started on the inside, but its destination will be the physical expression of an internal healing. And that reminds me of this transformation card. Things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. This journey will draw upon what you have learned and mastered over the course of your life, so much so that you may feel as though your life experiences have prepared you just for this particular adventure. You have all that you need within you. This is not a time to worry about what you're going to take with you. From within your heart, you will sense what needs to come along for the ride and what is best left behind you now. You may be surprised at exactly how much can be left behind without you feeling concerned or anxious. You will be able to travel far lighter than you ever imagined possible. This is definitely speaking into some of you here. And me as well. To be best equipped for this journey, you will need a lightness of heart in the realization that change can be an incredible blessing, even if what you are leaving behind is something you found secure, safe, familiar, or comforting. Just as the butterfly leaves the chrysalis behind when it is time to spread its newly formed wings, so too are you ready to leave behind what once was and embrace what is more appropriate for you at this time. There is an element to this journey you are embarking upon that is unknown. Perhaps it is news to you that you're even taking a journey. However, the realization that traveling along a familiar path brings no guarantees is more likely. This open, unscripted quality to your journey will help you gain the most from your experiences. You see, this journey is a spiritual gift. It is an invitation from the great loving heart of the universe, calling you into something that you would not have otherwise found. You are not supposed to know all the details nor how it is going to work out before you set out. You are just meant to take one step after the other, again and again, so that you can receive the gifts that are headed your way. If you are considering taking a physical trip somewhere, this oracle comes as confirmation that the journey will in some way be a life-changing one, and this is good. If the journey you are considering is of a more internal variety, such as exploring a new field of consciousness, beginning a new creative work, or traveling into the void of unknown possibilities in order to start your work, then this oracle is confirmation that it is indeed a wise choice and much new life will come of it. This oracle brings you particular guidance that the apparently small steps you are taking in an area of your life important to you right now are actually far more powerful and constructive than you realize. Sometimes we are gaining ground, but the effect is not immediately obvious. This doesn't mean that nothing is happening. It simply means that the effects of your actions are cumulative, and soon they will begin to overflow into the physical world with a positive impact that may surprise you. This oracle brings you the message to keep going. If you've been doing a lot of inner work and are frustrated or concerned that you are not seeing the results translate into the physical world, keep faith, as the physical manifestation of your inner work is coming. Remember that you have all the resources you need and then some. Your inner and outer journeys are blessed with positive energy, and all you need to do is keep going one step at a time. So I'm going to say the healing process aloud, and I just invite you to receive it. So take a breath, settle in. Of my own free will, I now choose to surrender any fear or doubt about my ability to succeed. I believe in myself. I trust myself. I have faith in the unfolding journeys of my life, both internally and out in the world. Even in the face of the unknown, I know that positive energy surrounds me and I am protected. Through unconditional love, I am supported and assisted to take each step as needs be, so that my great creative life journey can be all that it can be. Hi, Monica. Marcy, this aligns for you. Trish. Wonderful, Drazel, and wanting to live abroad, your dream. So, that's that card. So what is this confirmation about for you, for all of you? Because it's interesting, we had like this no card with the transformation. You know, it's like the no is going to open space for transformation. And then we had the receiving. Allow yourself to receive. And then we have now this journey that is opening up for you. Hi, Donna, trust the process. Thank you, Deirdre, for the donation. So what this reminds me of, I mean, it's just here is you know, my own journey overseas and how I had no idea what was going to turn out, what was going to happen. I didn't even know if I would have my job. I was taking this huge leap into the unknown, leaving everything I had ever known. And I did leave all of it. 13 years ago tomorrow, that's why I always remember. And it's like who we become on that journey. And that really is what our soul is here for. It's about the becoming and the unbecoming. I had to become and I had to unbecome, and it never ends. But it's not about reaching the destination. It's about who you become on that journey when you start out. With that single step. Lynn feels like you're living a small, safe life that keeps you stuck. So, Lynn, what's that first step? And baby steps. So, I love the example of somebody wants to lose X amount of weight. And it's like, oh God, I have to change so much, and it's, I've got so far to go. It's like, well, what's the tiniest unit of action you can take? And it might be putting your running shoes by the front door, right? So that you're going to go out and you're going to walk a mile or run a mile or whatever, right? But putting the shoes by the door. That's the first step. Sherry, you've been stuck in doubt. Trusting in the healing, Susie. So as I said before, this, begs to be said that the visioning process that I take people through, we look at all of this. So if you are feeling that heaviness and that stuckness, I offer this process as a gift to those of you in this community. So I invite you, if you feel into that, receive that. Drazel's done being scared. Yep. I mean, I was so stuck. I was stuck in a marriage, and it wasn't even personal to my husband. He's a wonderful, wonderful person and a wonderful husband, and all of it wasn't about that, but I was stuck. I mean, he was too. We both were together. And things were very stagnant, very safe, familiar, comfortable. I mean, I was stuck in futility. I was working, I was even grateful to have a job because of where we lived was in the middle of nowhere, so jobs were not easy to find. But it was like, it wasn't fulfilling. It was a life of quiet desperation. And of course we did our best, and I did my best. And it was very messy. Life is messy. But it was just like driving to work the same route every day, coming home the same every day. Come home and cook dinner, and it's like, what is this all for? We didn't have children, and I know that makes a big difference, and it doesn't solve anything, of course. But I got goats, and I mean, I didn't set out to do it, it just happened. But that helped with fulfillment. I had something to put all my attention and energy on. But I was living in a place that was out of alignment for me, like, of my values. The majority of the people in that part of the world were not in alignment with me. Thank you, Lynn, for the donation. And yeah, I mean, you just settle. It just happens. And I could have transformed there. I mean, I could have changed my life. I mean, so it wasn't about the circumstance. And I'm just painting the picture of that was how I felt, and that is how it was. And me and my husband had lots of, normal relationship issues. Oh wow, Trish. I love goats. I mean, they brought so much joy. But what happened is I met somebody else and I had an affair. And talk about changing the energy of life. That will do it for sure. And it's not something I'm proud of course. But that's the truth of what happened. And because of that, everything changed. And so, we just can't know this journey of life and where it's going to take us. I did the best I could with what I had, and I, didn't do very well in many ways. And, that's the experience that occurred. And because of that, I left everything and everyone I had ever known. And 13 years ago set off. I mean, this was me setting off into the complete unknown. And there was, a lot of consequences internally, a lot of suffering, a lot of pain, guilt. Just things have consequences. And yet, life isn't black and white. Things are not all good or all bad, they just are. A violation of life. What's that mean, Trish? Thanks, Lisa. It's like I would, of course, change how it happened, but I also wouldn't change it for the world. I mean, that part of having the affair, yes, of course. And the fact that it set me off on this part of my life has been, the greatest journey I've ever taken. And I'm a different person now. I am not that person. And I bless that version of myself because I'm standing on her shoulders. And we all have that. I wouldn't be sitting here with you had every moment of my life not occurred in the way that it had. And now I get to help other people with this. I know what it's like. And that's what that, the reading talked about too. So whatever this is for you, this is your signal. I mean, I feel like this is a very clear sign. And honestly, if everything hadn't occurred the way that it had for me, I wouldn't have changed. I wouldn't have taken the leap. I wouldn't have done what I did. I would probably still be doing the exact same thing 13 years later, honestly. And not that there's anything wrong with that. And I was deeply unhappy. And I mean, my husband was too. There's a whole story about, how things unfolded and what happened. Thank you. Did I say thank you for the donation, Jacqueline? Rita, we will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. So, fellow friend of Bill. Thank you, Monica. Interesting, Trish. Loss of your husband. I know you talked about the breakup of a boyfriend. Empty nest. Yeah, I mean, we expect life to happen a certain way. And my journey just is. My story just is. And we are all richer for all of our experiences. And we can relate and help and serve others in very unique ways depending on our own stories. And I've been on both sides. I mean, not of a marriage affair as far as like, I didn't have a husband that cheated on me. But I have been cheated on. We've all played the roles. The goats of change, Jeff. Oh, my beautiful goats. This resonates, Lynn. Yeah, I can feel this deeply for you. Like, yeah, it's time. Welcome, Chandan. And it's still not easy for me to talk about, what I did, because I still have shame and regret about it. I mean, I think that's human. If I didn't, that probably would be a red flag. But I don't want to hold back out of fear of what you might think. I hear you on that, Monica. So, that story wanted to come out. And so I let it. But yeah. So I do have to share the card underneath, because this card also resonates. Actually, so y'all that have been with me, sometimes the cards will just start telling a story, and I'm seeing that happen here. Hi, Tammy. You're welcome, Trish and Lisa. So some of you are on this precipice, and it's time for you to say no more. That you are going to transform, and you are going to stop settling. One of my favorite questions to ask in coaching sessions is, what are you tolerating? And if I think back to my life, 14 years ago, my whole life I was tolerating, I was settling. So every journey starts with a single step. It's time for you to take that baby step. And some of you might be reaching out to me and us having that visioning process. Now this, relax the hold of darkness and be at cause. Relax the hold of darkness and be at cause. So the darkness might be different things for you. It might be the settling. I mean, I was depressed. I mean, I was very overweight. My food addiction was horrible because I was eating, that's how I was coping before I had the affair. I was eating my feelings, and that was the bright spot of my life, was pigging out every night. And I actually was very desperate, in the food and sugar addiction at that time. So, and be at cause. That means it's time for you to be at cause in your own life, and for you to pack your bag here and take the step and not wait anymore. And to say no to what you don't want in your life anymore, so that you can allow this transformation. But look, you're protected. I don't like to use the language of protection, because I don't believe there's anything to protect against, because we are sovereign, powerful beings. And I guess I just want to say, you'll be held in light when you move forward. When you take this step, you will be held. I was held. I moved to Korea, y'all. I moved to South Korea 13 years ago. I had only ever been out of the US for 2 weeks in my life on my honeymoon. That's the only reason I had a passport. And we went to Europe. So I totally stepped into the total unknown. And I was held. So this for you. Don't worry. Trust the process. If we had more time, I would want to look at the guidebook on that card, and we're getting to be finished, but I'm going to go over a bit. But the next card is faith in the process. Have faith in this process. Look at the little birdie. These are your spirit guides, your angels, your ancestors. And she's in a little red wagon. She is being pulled forward by Source and by free will. But it's like partly you need to let go of control and allow this to happen. And then we have the Sacred Fool. The Fool is card number 0 in the traditional tarot. The Fool is 0. It is intentions. It is new beginnings. It is infinite possibilities. So you need to have this Fool energy and not be jaded, and not let your jadedness and any victim thinking or any, pessimism. Don't listen to those voices. Allow yourself to be that Fool energy. The Fool is in the moment. The Fool is in wonder. And to trust the perfection of your life. Trust this perfect unfolding. I mean, even my story, there's all kinds of ways that we can look at things through the spiritual lens of we came together in this life and he volunteered to receive that, my husband, that experience for his own good and to help me with my journey. You can think about it any way you want, right? But trusting that it's all perfect. Hi, Kana. Definitely this is for you. Susie, be like water. Trust the process, faith in the process. And then, shock of the new. I mean, definitely 13 years ago, there was a shock of the new when I left the US. But to trust that, again, you will be held. And you're going to have to go against the grain. Like I said, you're going to have to say no to things. You might have to say no more of this, no more settling. You're going to have to do different things that are against what you feel like is the old familiar comfort zone ways. So that is our reading for today. If anybody wants the card information, send me a private message. If anybody wants to dive deeper one-on-one into your own situation, reach out for that gifted visioning process that I offer to you. If you've never received, anything gifted with me before. Wonderful. I'm so glad. I love this, So we will just do a few minutes of Reiki healing and ancestral clearing. I will bring in the, kind of the energies that have come through as far as clearing around, blocks and staying stuck and all of those things. Because I do have a sense that some of you are in a similar situation that I was, as far as just like the futility of life and it not being stimulating at all, and like every day looking the same. So yeah, wonderful, Drazel. You all are so welcome. I mean, I love it and so powerful. I'm glad that it's helpful. All right, so let's close our eyes together. Slow your breath down and just breathe deeply. And I will activate Reiki and also Solvana energy. Solvana energy is energy of transformation and new beginnings. And just receive. Relax, release, let go, receive, trust, and allow. Allow this Reiki energy and Solvana energy to move in, through, and around you. Trusting your body, mind, spirit will draw it in exactly where it needs to go for your best and highest good right now. Working on physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual levels across all time, space, and dimension. And just feel this beautiful, soothing energy. Just soothe your soul. It's like a healing balm. Some of you have wounds that are fresh and open. I'm getting an image of that, of like tender, open wounds. Of betraying yourself for too long, settling for too long. And it's okay. It's just your soul is like, it's time. It is time. And I want you all to take in this question deeply. If not now, when? If not now, when? If that question hits for you, then that means the time is now, and no more waiting. It is time. Your future self is waiting on the other side of these decisions, choices, actions, and cheering you on. And the journey is going to be so delicious and challenging and fulfilling. It will stretch you in ways you didn't even know. And you will both become and unbecome. And best of all, you will no longer feel stuck. Feeling stuck is the soul's most unfavorite thing because it's against its nature. We all just want to feel like we're making progress. No matter if it looks big or small. Infinite Creator, source of all that is, we love you. Thank you for loving us. We humbly ask that you open, bless, expand, lead, guide, and direct us into your perfect light, love, and life, and always, completely, now and forever. Please and thank you. For everyone hearing my voice, for all of our family members, all of our relationships, all of our ancestors, and all of their relationships through all relevant time, space, and dimension. For all hurts, wrongs, judgments, and burdens, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, sexual, and financial, through thought, word, or deed, please help us all forgive each other, forgive ourselves, forgive all people, and all people forgive us completely and totally, please and thank you. Infinite Creator, for the highest good, please lift out all weight, pain, burden, sin, death, debt, negativity, spells, hexes, curses, black magic, white magic, guilt, fear, shame, unworthiness, in limitation of all kind. Transform it into your love and let your love flow back in and through us, filling and giving us all complete peace now and forever. Please and thank you, please and thank you, please and thank you. Please help us love and bless each other. Love and bless ourselves. Be at peace with each other and at peace with ourselves. Please and thank you, please and thank you, please and thank you. Breathing in, and on the exhale, just letting go of what no longer serves you. Just letting go of fear, letting go of control, which is fear disguised. And trusting the unknown. Breathing in that trust. Trusting the unknown. It will be unknown because it will be new. Trust that unknown. So you can go ahead if you want to come back and open your eyes. Thank you all so much for joining today. Very grateful as always. If you care to make a donation, you can do so anytime, and the card is on the screen. I can't wait to see what unfolds for you all. And of course, you know, you can't make this shit up, that this message coincides with, you know, my own step into the unknown 13 years ago tomorrow. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to move across the world and whatever, you know, whatever your step is. Adrian, yes, Wendy, thank you for the donation, and Nancy, Jacqueline, Trish. Yes, that question, 10 years ago, that question changed my life. If not now, when? What was I waiting for? How long had I waited? Why am I continuing to wait? Fear. You're welcome, J.E. So you can do it. I mean, if you created being here in this live stream, hearing these words, that means this is your sign. And again, it doesn't have to be that you buy a plane ticket across the world tomorrow or today and leave tomorrow. And what's the smallest unit of action that you can take? And I mean, some of you, it might be buying that plane ticket. Actually, speaking of, I just booked my almost 3-month travel in South America yesterday. So speaking of journeys and steps, and I've never been to the continent of South America, never been to these countries. We will see what the universe does. And of course, y'all will be with me. We'll be spending a month in Colombia. We will be spending a month in Ecuador. I will be going to Peru for my 50th birthday in June. I might go live, but I'm only there a week. So anyway, y'all will be with me. You're welcome, Trish. Thank you, Monica. You're welcome, Susie. All right. So I will see you all. I will put my next live stream up, which is Friday. March, or no, it's not Friday. Oh, wait. Okay, March 27th. I think, anyway, whenever March 27th is, 4 p.m., we're going to be talking about trauma bonding and breaking the cycle. It will be very powerful. And as y'all know, or some of you know, I have an Etsy shop now full of powerful and valuable digital workbooks that I have created all around breakups, toxic relationship healing. I have a divorce recovery workbook. I know some of you may be looking at that or in process of that. I have trauma bonding, all of these things. So the name of my shop is Heartbreak Recovery Co. Or you can send me a message if you want to check that out. Right now, everything is very reasonably priced as it's new and just starting out. So I will see you all very soon. Thank you, Jacqueline, on Friday. Much love. Namaste.